Yo, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. Hope everything is going just according to plan for you. I know a lot of the high school seasons are in like chaos right now. It's crazy to hear exactly how everyone's like different. Like I'm in California right now, and it's like just completely different than a lot of other places. So who knows? But all right, man. So I'm going to keep this analysis simple because I don't think we need to overhaul the entire delivery, right? So like you're pretty good in terms of like where you're at right now. I would say like you're pretty elite for your age and for your level. For me, screening you and analyzing you, man, like the thing that I'm trying to do is like make a few kind of adjustments slash modifications here and there, and especially the ones that I'm going to be talking about today. And I think like get you freaking a quick boost of potential velocity, because I think that especially the two of the three components that I'm going to be talking about are pretty freaking night and day if you ask me. So taking you here again, when I screen you, I'm going to go from beginning to the end. We'll double back at the end of the screening and talk about where I believe that you should progress moving forward, like order of most appearance. And then when I conduct the written report, I'm going to put the breakdown progressions in order of which I think you should attack. Okay. In terms of like where I see, biggest breakdown, lowest hanging fruit, hammer that, and then work your way down the list. There's going to be progressions, more breakdowns, more screenings. All of that's in the report. So if you're confused watching the screening, don't worry. Be sure to check out the report. There'll be breakdowns. I got your boy Walker Bueller in one of those too, so it'll be good for you to check all that stuff out. But I want to start with your initial move and how it proceeds into your acceleration rate. And I know from what you wrote in your assessment with the drive leg mechanics, this is where it kind of gets misinterpreted a lot of the times, because a lot of the people that I work with that talk about their drive leg being a breakdown or whatever, you can see in their delivery very similar to how you are. As soon as you lift, like now you're trying to feel power in your drive leg. You're trying to feel force into the drive leg by essentially shifting your trunk and weight back. Now, I'm not one to say that that's a bad or a good move. I'm just going to say what you're missing out on. Okay. So as you lift, you can see that like the direction is home plate, right? That's the task. That's where the location of the task is. Now, your body doesn't move towards that task until essentially right here. And the way that you're moving towards that target is shooting backwards. Hip coil is what I say. So what I look at, dude, is like how much acceleration do we have into front foot strike? How much acceleration do we have going down the mound, right? And the slope is actually going to aid into more acceleration because it's slope. Like if you're running downhill, you're obviously going to be able to go faster than if you were running flat or uphill, right? So what I look at is obviously that initial move, limited amount of forward momentum. And now as you descend, you're going forward towards your target, but you're doing it in a way of defiance towards like that forwardness of gravity. So now what we see is that when you land right there, I think right there, you have a very limited amount of force into that lead foot, right? So it kind of looks like you're shifted a little bit still backwards because of that forward move. And for me, man, it's about getting down the mound and accelerating. Like if you want to throw hard or if you want to throw fast, you got to move fast essentially and move in the desired target as well, right? So like I comped you with Blake Snell, who absolutely shoved last night, but like it's a pretty good visual representation too of like his forward move, because he's a smaller guy. Like he's going to rely on arm speed, which his arm speed is going to be accelerated by his forward move. So this is actually a video of 2017 Snell. I'll show you another one of a different where he's at now, but like even him here, he's going to lift and now he's going to get going forward. And now as soon as he descends, he's going to ride that. So you'll see his trunk is very similar with where his head is. So now he rides that and doesn't defy gravity. And now, boom, lands, and look at how much force he has in that lead leg, right? So he has a lot more acceleration going into that lead foot. And for me, it's about that like initial move and not define that gravity potential in that initial move, right? So this is a more updated video. I think this is last year. So like same thing, leg lift, and now you can see that his body's going down the mound, and then boom, you won't see him shoot backwards, and now he rides that out, and then boom, lands with a lot of force into that lead foot. So that's going to be your biggest thing, honestly, is I think you just need to get your body, start equipping your body and getting your body to understand what you want to do, your goal of your initial move, and just ride the center, right? Keep the head in the center. Don't defy that gravity, man. Like you're a big kid, like you can have a lot more force into that lead foot, which will result in energy up the chain. And then the next thing that I see, man, is just you talk about separation in your assessment. I see your just late hip rotation, man. In order to get authentic separation, we need to make sure that we're able to segment the hip rotation and the trunk rotation. Okay, so you can see right here at landing that back foot hasn't begun really turning, right? So you can kind of see like this rear hip in not the greatest of positions. So you're not creating a ton of stretch. You're not creating that separation that we want. So this is a better view, obviously. So when you land, like I want to see that hip is into rotation a lot more than it is, because it literally just went from here, right there to boom, landing there. So it moved from like there to there. Again, when we look at a guy like Snell, who's a smaller guy that's able to produce high power output, just watch his hip rotation mechanics. So accelerates down. Now he's going to start his rotation. Now the back foot comes off, hip rotation. Hip internal rotation is going to dictate that ankle and that foot, that heel coming off the ground. And then now watch. Boom. That's him at landing, his whole back foot. You can see the whole sole of his foot if you were behind him. So he's creating a ton of stretch from on-time hip rotation, and then trunk stays neutral. And then he's able to just whip that through and pull that string. I say string, but it's band. Like you create this huge tension and stretch in this rubber band, and you pull it, right? So that's another thing that I see. And then you talked about your direction. You talked about your front side fly out. Just to give you some context, and I'll include a little bit of stuff on this in the report. I don't want to overwhelm you with too much stuff because I don't think it's a huge necessity. But the front side fly out, the early trunk rotation, it's a byproduct of your misdirection, right? So watch how your front foot's going to land in a little bit of crossfire. So your body's extremely smart and extremely adaptable to learn how to complete a task that you give it. So when it sees that, or when it feels that you're going to cut yourself off, essentially, now it has to do essentially an over rotation of the trunk in order to get into that slot that you're giving it. Okay. So this is what I just call like lateral trunk flexion, meaning that you're just pulling a little bit glove side to make way for your arm, especially if you have this crossfire, Johnny, here. Like I said, I'll program a little stuff for direction. I don't think it's your biggest breakdown or biggest piece. Honestly, probably the forward momentum and especially the hip rotation progressions are probably going to clean this up. Yeah. So that's what I got, man. So in the report, you're going to see, first and foremost, we're going to talk about momentum and acceleration, give you a ton of progressions on that, get you start moving a little bit, moving a little bit faster, get your body to start leveraging your arm. You know, having that acceleration is going to be huge. And then make sure you're not trying to do two different progressions at once, meaning you're not trying to do momentum and acceleration progressions and hip rotation mechanics, right? You're going to focus on momentum and acceleration, and you're going to find the progressions that work, and then you're going to include those into your process and your progressions and all of that stuff. And then once you feel comfortable with that and you instill those motor patterns, then you can move on to the next biggest thing, which is going to be the hip rotation mechanics, right? So don't try to do everything at once, or else you won't really get anywhere. So yeah, man, let me know, check it all out. Let me know if you have any questions, dude. But I'm excited for you, man. I think, like I said in the beginning, this is going to be a huge, huge breakthrough for you. So work hard. Let me know if you have any questions. See you, brother.